of that. And then, there was a discussion concern about an article regarding bedbugs in an assisted living facility. So, my deputy for the Center of Health Facility Regulations, Autumn Bishop, is here today, and she is the program manager for assisted living and is, knows this story inside out, so I will defer to her. Thank you.
So it has been in the media a couple of times recently regarding the bedbug situation in the facility in Coventry. It is correct that they do have them, however, they have had them approximately 5 years that I've worked here. They've always had them. At times the situation is much improved over other times. The reality of the situation is that the facility is following every single pest control recommendation that is given to them. They're doing everything that they can, everything that they've been asked to do, they have done. Aside from the one request that they limit the activity of the residents in order to improve their situation, which is the one thing they cannot do regarding the residents' right to come and go as they please. And unfortunately, that's contributing significantly to the issue at this facility and has been over time. Been contributing to the issue. It's the one recommendation they are unable to follow, but they have followed every other recommendation. So as a regulatory agency, the only thing that we can expect of them is that they follow guidance given to them by professionals. I'm not a pest control professional, so therefore I have nothing to add. As long as they are looking at and doing all the interventions that are requested of them, then they remain in compliance. So I'm more than happy to answer questions, but that's where that facility is at this point.
Well, I'm sorry to interrupt. Can you just pick up? They're having a hard time hearing you. So you fix it up from there.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone in the room have questions for me regarding this facility? Question.
Hi, Kathleen Gerard, Advocates for Better Care. I'm wondering, I know it's a really tough problem to solve, but I also know that the residents have the right to live in a safe and clean environment. Has there been any discussion of moving the residents out into respite care for a temporary period while the place is completely cleaned, all textiles removed, and then some sort of prevention plan being implemented before they're moved back?
So unfortunately, these residents, there isn't anywhere to move them to, or I'm sure that would be a plan to do that. This particular facility is always at capacity. There's never an open bed. The residents that are living in this facility, we already have wait lists of those residents for placement, because unfortunately there's a lack of facilities that take Medicaid. And the majority of these residents are either Medicaid or Social Security based payment. And we already are struggling to find placement for people with that type of insurance in assisted living. The facility has tried, when they have vacancies, they've tried closing off rooms, they've tried doing literally everything. As far as moving 62 plus people out of a building temporarily, and still having the ability to manage that, I don't think that's been. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know that's been considered, mostly because of where they place them.
And there's also an issue of these people are younger, they're transient, they come in and out constantly, they go visit their families. There's one resident that is the major issue here. Their family has their homes full of bed bugs, and she, not identifying them, is constantly bringing them back in. It's a constant battle. And when we say infested, so this article was, not really accurate, but we're talking sometimes one or two in an area, right? There's not a huge infestation in this building. It's usually these 1 or 2 rooms where, again, the resident goes out and yada yada, family brings in used clothing, there's bed bugs in them, it's really difficult to control. They are doing the best they can. Yes, you're right, they have the right to live in a clean environment, but when they go into an environment that's not clean and bring them back, what do you do now? So it's a challenge.
Yeah, that's kind of the question I was gonna have, if it was throughout the whole facility, so limited to.
It's isolated rooms with
And it's always
specific
kind of
residents.
specific.
Yeah, so they are treated, so they actually treat daily. Which is, like I said, it's a very aggressive pest control, in comparison to what most facilities are doing. But the issue is, as they pointed out, like these are residents who will go out for several days at a time, sometimes bring back furniture from outside, they bring back clothing. They sleep on somebody's couch. We've looked at this. I counted yesterday, 29 times. So it's not like they're not being supervised. We are there all the time looking at this situation. And certainly if we were ever to find that they were not following the guidance of the professionals in the pest control companies, we would certainly cite them for it. It's just that short of just abandoning the building, and I don't know what else they would do. At this point, they're doing everything else, and so I don't know, like, as I said, I'm not a pest control professional, so I can't say they're not doing enough when the pest control companies, they're following theirs.
So I have a couple follow-up questions.
Yeah.
What can we or anyone else do to support you in helping those residents? Are there any regulatory tools that you don't have, that you wish you did have, that would help with this? And my understanding of bedbugs is that they can't really be isolated within a facility. And I read the same article and saw the photos and video of just hundreds of bugs.
So that's inaccurate. That's not accurate. There's not really truly hundreds of bugs. That's not the finding. That I will tell you that the photographs are not actually even people that are concerned to us. So that being said, I'm not sure where these came from or where the information in the article came from. But I can tell you that again, they're treating daily and they have a regular pest control. There's no findings of which we review. We review all of their reports. We review all of those things. That those are not the findings of the pest control company. So I don't know where that information. I will just say that. And most of the answers that Joseph and Doug didn't supply came from me, obviously. So that's where that information came from. But as to where the reporter got his information, my surveyor was just there on Thursday and Friday of last week. And this is the same time as this article, and that is not.
So I would say, can we follow up, front line, because I'm really interested on this, following up on this issue, this topic, unless there's any burning questions.
It's a separate topic back to the original one.
Okay.
Hi, Diane. So, could you talk about, I read in your reports, thank you for that. Great data, but I'm curious about themes, like what information you pull from this? What can you derive from that? Are you seeing common themes about what these incidents are reported, or what can we glean from the report?
So basically, I mean, what you can glean is what I usually present on the immediate jeopardies, right? It's the patterns. First of all, the complaints have exploded, right? There's been so many more complaints since COVID. A lot of them, medication errors, patient safety and care, falls. Just low staffing ratios, so not being cleaned properly, things like that. It's just chronic and constant. Thank you. But yeah, it's anything from an ALR perspective as well.
No, unfortunately, we're seeing the same kind of trends in the assisted living, like some of the companies that are going out on, again, sorry.
Louder.
There again, the complaints in assisted living are also, the same kind of trend. You're seeing people that actually may have an outcome. That's not actually the norm in assisted living. You don't really see outcomes from incidents that of concern, but we are seeing that now. And a lot of it, unfortunately, we're seeing a lot of trends in assisted living is to the competency of the staff.
Sorry, we had a question online for a while. Deb, if you, like to go on.
Thank you so much, Diane and Autumn. I haven't seen the annual report, but I'll look for it. I too have seen the article, videos, and pictures regarding Summer Villa, and I understand the challenges in housing in general related to bed bugs, etc. Summer Villa is one of the very few facilities that actually does accept Medicaid as a payer. And I know when an individual is in a hospital and they have a hospital acquired infection, that the hospital is responsible for the costs of that. Is the same true in a situation like this? If the residents came in without a history of scabies or any skin issues related to bed bugs, if they entered the facility and then had an issue and needed to be treated, is that cost the responsibility of the facility, or is that something that Medicaid pays for?
So it's the responsibility of the facility, right? So they're responsible for all of the care for any resident that comes into that facility. So we did cite them for a scabies issue recently. And again, for the bed bugs, I saw those photos. I'm no physician, but we'll leave it at that. But they are responsible for the care and the services of that resident as soon as they enter that facility. They own them. I mean, they own them. It's their home, right? So you're required to provide all the care and services.
And so if I'm understanding that correctly, then if individuals did need to get additional treatment out at their physician's office, being that it's an assisted living facility and not something like a nursing home where there's a doctor overseeing the facility, if individuals did need to go out to their physician to receive care, then the physician would bill Summer Villa, or is that not correct? How does that work?
Yeah, they would follow the normal process of any other healthcare situation where the physician would bill the insurance. Anything that's not covered would be absolutely Summer Villa's responsibility.
So Medicaid would cover for Summer Villa to provide the assisted living level of care, but if someone became unwell because of being in that facility, then Medicaid would provide payment to the providers related to becoming unwell for the facility that Medicaid is paying for care for.
I'm not following up well the discussion. I really want to take this conversation offline because I want to go deep into the details. I would love for you and Kathleen to join us having a conversation offline on a Zoom.
That'd be great.
So we can go into those details and then we can report back at the next meeting. What was the result of that conversation? So let's just take this conversation offline so we can go into details because I'm running out of time on this agenda. Sorry. Okay.
Thank you very much, Lieutenant Governor.
Thank you, Dr.
I have a quick point. You may want to consider a mitigation plan. I know like you have an external exterminator coming in and they've done everything they can. But you may want to consider looking at, since it seems to be a small group of patients, the way you've underscored it, and the way you've said with the room and so on, am I right, what I heard?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you may want to look at maybe when they come back, maybe they should take their clothes off and maybe change, shower. So that's something that you didn't highlight. So a mitigation plan of how to deal with this that the agency's doing might answer a lot of questions and go, well. And we have the same thing at the state hospitals, where we have people go on passes and come back. So having a mitigation plan to make sure, and it's documented as such.
that what they're doing now?
Yeah, they are, they're already doing, and unfortunately, it's just still continues to be an issue, they are doing that already.
Okay, all right, thank
Yeah.
you. I didn't.
I just don't, yeah, again, but it isn't probably as documented as well, so that's not actually a bad suggestion to have the documentation.
That would be very.
We see.
Document, it never happens. You don't document, it never happens. So that's for your protection. Thank you. Sorry for your time.
Yeah, thank you for that feedback, thank you so much. So we gotta continue moving on the agenda.